Are we live yet? Is this thing on? Oh, good. Oh, good. We're live. Yay! What a great day it is. Happy Thursday, everybody. This is John with WoW Support coming to you from various locations throughout the world. We've got me. I am actually in my home office right now. We've got Jackson.
I am also in my home office. This is a new home office for anyone who actually pays attention. That's why I missed our last stream. I've actually been moving, but I'm now in my new place set up. And I'm coming from Utah, so it's a fun time.
Awesome. And Artie.
I'm mostly here.
Coming to us from the outer stratosphere, right?
I haven't taken the meds yet, so probably not.
That's when you hit deep orbit, right? Well, today is September the 5th, and we are on episode 18. And just because we're going to call this episode No Longer a Miner. And that is like the Minecraft miner, just for
Or
the play on words.
Bitcoin miner.
Bitcoin miner. There we go. Gosh, Bitcoin. There's a interesting subject. It's gone up and down like crazy.
Oh yeah, I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, it's kind of cratered of past several months. Went from a peak of 70,000 down to like 49,000. I don't know what it's at today, but I think it's up just a little bit. But
Good grief.
yeah, no, it's one of those interesting things. I I I, I hear people talk about investing in Bitcoin. That's like me saying I'm going to invest in the peso or the Deutschmark or the British pound. I'm going to invest my money in the British pound because it's also currency.
hmm
There
But
is a currencies market out there, and it's like you buy the currency hoping that it's going to become stronger against whatever you paid for it. And then you just
yep,
convert it back. And there are some people that's how they make their money.
speculation and gambling. I mean, what better way to bank your future, right?
Yeah, let me just
Uh,
quit my
well,
job.
why work when I've got futures markets to play in?
Right. Well,
Oh,
anyway,
what if? So yeah, that's one of the things we want to talk about. We also want to talk real briefly on a couple subjects. We've touched on this before. Social security numbers got hacked. 2.9 billion records leaked out into the world. So that's still kind of echoing out there. Many people I've talked to, many of our clients, and a few of my personal friends have been getting scam calls and alerts on all their systems. So we'll talk about that. There's a new TikTok trend. Um, I shouldn't say trend. I should say a gotcha. We'll talk about how it is not a money machine.
would you like to
Um,
commit fraud?
now that we're not a minor anymore, I don't want to commit any kind of fraud,
You're no
Not
longer
even minor
protected.
fraud.
right? And then YubiKeys, there was a vulnerability that was just announced and discovered. I want to talk about that since hardware keys have been a thing. Anything else you want to talk about, guys?
I think I just saw there was a so and so quote unquote musician um charged with $10 million in streaming royalties fraud using AI and bots, which is pretty interesting. Because we've had that increase of AI generated art or AI generated music, and someone used it to play the system pretty hard.
That's frightening and awesome, all in one shot. That's not
I'm almost like, well, that's kind of like good for that guy, but not good because it's fraud. But
right. I mean, let's hope you got the millions to spend on lawyers instead of fines. But hey, only the successful can afford the attorneys like that.
First world problems, right?
There's a question for
Right?
you. If the
Yeah.
attorney is paid by check from someone that committed money fraud, I mean, do they get paid?
If you stand in line at the Chase Bank, yeah. So let's talk about that one, guys. There was a TikTok thing that went kind of viral. I saw one of the news channels I watch. There was a line of people wrapped around the block trying to get to the ATM because of this money glitch. And the idea was, and check this out, Jackson. You write yourself a check for $40,000. You scan that in. You go to the ATM and you withdraw as much money as you can because you got $40,000. So then you take that money, you put it back in the bank, and then you got 40,000 and now like so 41,000. And so you keep doing this, and it keeps building up the money in your account.
Well, you're writing yourself a check from what account then? Your own
Yes.
account? Ah.
It wasn't registering where the money was being drawn from.
Nope.
Oh, way to go, Chase.
Well, actually, all banks do that. They will credit your account and give you some access to the cash before it's actual cash. So if you're a bank and I'm a bank, one of my customers writes a check to one of your customers, you come to me and say, "Hey, pay up." It takes, you and I are going to get together every couple days and hand off cash. The same thing with banks. It doesn't happen real time. It winds up at the end of the day or the beginning of the next day.
Right, but then when they go to withdraw that money, are they not going to just then say, when that transaction fails, doesn't that just end you up with several $1,000s in the hole then?
Yes. And a whole lot of fraud because you're writing checks that you don't have the cash to cover to pull the cash out of your account. So the net result of this is Chase is going to lock down and not give people access to the cash that they have been giving access to. So instead of getting a paycheck from your boss and getting the cash right away, you're going to get a paycheck from your boss, and you have to wait 2 days for the cash.
Interesting. So in all, Chase didn't take a loss.
Nope.
Whoever was doing it did. So they
Tens
just
of
all
thousands of people that committed bank fraud, though.
everyone just played
It's
themselves.
it's a one-person Ponzi scheme. That's
Yep.
exactly what it is.
That's funny. Oh my goodness. Well, is there anything else that I mean, so the end of that was just now if you're a Chase member, you can't get your money for 2 days now.
Well, I don't know what they're going to officially do, but it was kind of a grace kind of thing that they did by giving you access to the money from the check that you just cashed.
Right.
Well, now that they got this hit, everybody's going to scream, "Oh, you should protect me better," and we'll see what Chase does. I don't know.
You shouldn't let me steal from you.
Don't let me take money from myself because I put it
Interesting
in my
because
account.
the place that I bank at, they have as soon as the check clears, then you can access the money. And
And
I
that's
thought that
what most
was,
banks do.
yeah,
But uh, Chase was giving you access to the cash in advance. So, yeah, who knows? We'll see what Chase does. But
Is that
go ahead.
only only a vulnerability for Chase, or have people been doing it at other banks as well? Like, is this a common thing that is able to be done, or is there a specific flaw in their logic that was allowing that to happen?
I think it was a flaw that somebody figured out, and posted a joke, and it went viral.
Think of
Now,
it like
who
the
doesn't want free money?
can they press charges against whoever posted that?
yeah,
I mean, I know we're not like a legal channel, but
they can press
No,
charges, but
that's
whether or not they stick, that's a different matter.
the thing
right.
that shocks me with these TikTok challenges, like stealing Kia cars because it's so easy. You can use a USB cord, kind of thing. You know, you literally have thousands of people filming themselves committing robberies, doing harmful pranks, and it stays on the platform. It's frightening to me that it's not followed up.
Well, the thing that always gets me is there's people that have um like YouTube channels or social media. I mean, things that the type of social media I consume is mostly, cars. I'm into cars and, all sorts of stuff. But I see people, like speeding all the time and they post it. And I'm like, well, aren't you just setting yourself up?
You
So,
you think of it this way: if you film yourself speeding, you post it on YouTube, we can call that Exhibit A. It has
Just
happened. There's been a couple of people that have got arrested for driving way too fast. There was a motorcyclist. He would do a lap around Manhattan, and he
Mhm.
was doing, I think, an average of 120 miles an hour.
Holy cow.
Okay, average. There's stoplights involved.
That's crazy.
So yeah, he posted the video and he made a whole lap. I don't want to say how fast because but like half the time it should have taken it, or a third of the time it should have taken. And cops saw the video, and cops came knocking, took his license, took his motorcycle, and he has to walk everywhere now.
Yeah.
incidentally, I am going to state this flatly. We here at WoW Support do not condone doing any of these things. These are crimes. We do not condone doing crimes.
I don't know how to not make a joke against that, but absolutely, you're right there, Artie. We don't we don't encourage or promote the idea of any crime on this channel. But
This is here to stand as an example as to why you shouldn't, because it's dumb and you'll
yeah,
get caught.
yeah, it's world's full of all kinds of people, and watching people do, should we say, misinformed things, or they didn't think things through. Yeah, but again, the whole idea of filming yourself doing a crime and posting it online for the world to see, how is this not punished? Like, like it's an interesting circumstance. But let's segue off of that one crime and let's move on to another crime. Um, so security numbers got hacked, and we talked about this a couple weeks back, and it's been kind of a recurring theme. Um, want to share a story. Let's go back in time real quick. Jackson, you remember LastPass?
I do. That was what, a month or two ago?
More than that.
Has it been that
Last
long?
year.
It's been about a year.
What? No, hold on. That last pass had that big breach?
One
Yep.
of them.
One
All
of
right.
them.
I've been
No,
in a
so
wormhole then.
so just to jog down memory lane on this, somebody got a hold of the Hive. That is the main database. Now, your data, my data, everybody data who was in that, it's encrypted. But it's only encrypted just so much, right? Well, LastPass didn't put some basic securities in there. So your name is in clear text. My name's in clear text. Artie's name is in clear text. Well, if I've got this terabyte sized Hive and I know Jackson has $18 million in Bitcoin, I'm going to run my GPUs against the Hive and Jackson's thing to find wallet addresses and passwords. So, true story. There was a entrepreneur. He had $2.1 million in Bitcoin. He heard about the LastPass breach. And he's like, okay, I should really change my password. I'm thinking about changing my password. I want to change my password. But what's the risk? I mean, there's a group of guys out there. They're harvesting things out on a targeted basis in the hive. So why do I care? I should just do it anyways. So I'm going to do it. Well, he sat down to do it, and from the week before where he checked his account to the week where he sat down to change his password, somebody had stole $2.1 million out of his
Oh
crypto
my
wallet.
goodness.
And he was mad, and he said, I've got nobody to blame but myself because I dragged my feet. I procrastinated this. So I'm
Well,
going to use this as a cautionary tale. Go ahead.
that's at least the right mindset. At least he's not saying it's LastPass's fault, which, I'm sure they play a part in it
No, it
as well.
absolutely is.
Um, but I mean, at least he takes the blame for himself. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's my responsibility to, be making sure I change my password and update those things. So, I mean, that's the mindset we should all have, but we should also keep the companies that we subscribe to and pay good money, keep them accountable as well for keeping our data safe.
Exactly. Well, and so he knew LastPass dropped the ball. He saw the ball was on the ground, and he said, yeah, I should probably pick that up. And he chose not to. So hacker grabbed the ball and ran.
Well, now
Yeah, hacker.
LastPass, maybe I am mixing this up with something else. What is LastPass? What are they?
LastPass was and is a key, a password manager.
Oh, okay.
So like,
I was thinking of a different. What was the company that got hacked and they sell venue tickets to concerts? There's something
Ticketmaster.
past. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm lost. That's where my mind was. I was like, how is this connected to Bitcoin? It all makes sense now. Okay.
yeah, we're not going to talk about that monopoly right now.
Oh,
Sort of something to go on with the Bitcoin aspect of it. Something that I was watching recently, that they went into how criminals used Bitcoin to like pay for everything, but because it's all on a public blockchain, everything is traceable. And the fact that, this person had, taken Bitcoin from a underworld entity, and they were sitting on it because if they got rid of it in any way, if they tried to cash it out, if they tried to put it into something to like BitTornado, which no longer exists, but something like that, it's still traceable to the different wallet addresses. So it was Bitcoins were seen as like this big thing for the underground, for the legal underground, whatever. I can't think very well. I apologize.
black market.
Thank you. Um, but it's probably the most traceable form of currency we have right now because the processing power needed to track them down can now be purchased from Google or Amazon to, just we need it for like 5 hours to run this scan. They get it, they do the scan, they now know exactly who they're going for.
Hmm.
It's really
Yep.
cool.
Well, and that's you're absolutely right. The idea was it's anonymous transactions. It's not. The nature of blockchain is everything has a record. Everything's in the public ledger. There is no private transaction, which I think is pretty cool. But okay, so we got the cautionary tale of losing your bitcoins because you didn't change your password quick enough. So he could trace it and figure out what wallet his bitcoins are in, but tracing it to a person, that's where the anonymity turns into a thing. And Artie,
And
you're right. If you sit on it and squat on it, it goes nowhere until somebody's forgot about it or statute of limitations or something.
yeah, the story that I was listening to, he sat on it for about 10 years and then he made a slip up of transferring between that account and another account that was linked to his name, and so they found out who he was.
Oops. Well, I wanna raise the alert, and Jackson, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Oh boy,
Have you frozen your credit with the
I,
3 credit agencies?
I have not. I'll be honest.
Don't lose 2.1 million in Bitcoin.
You see, if someone were to even get into my accounts, they'd just see a lot of negative numbers and they wouldn't even bother.
You know, that's actually the number one answer given uh, uh, for everybody on why they haven't locked it down. It's like if they
Yeah,
want my credit,
probably.
great. It's only going to drag it up. I've got a 300 score. Let them do it.
No, I should do that. I do have a decent credit score.
Well, and well, don't advertise now. Now you got a target on you. Don't worry. Every other American with a bank account has their social security number out there too. What I recommend all of us do, so not just you, Jackson, but everybody watching this and everybody that's friends of somebody watching this. And by the way, like and subscribe this. This is a fantastic podcast. We got lots of content like this coming up. But you should invite your friends to look at all their credit, validate all the addresses, validate all the open credit lines that they've got, make sure there's no surprises. Call, not call, but log in to each of the credit agencies and set up a name, password, and log in and put two-factor authentication against that so that you are the only one that can get into those accounts. And then you got a good shot at being safe.
Do you know them by name?
TransUnion, um,
Experian.
Experian, uh, I really should. I was researching this morning and this afternoon. Equifax.
Equifax. Yep. I was just looking it up for you.
Equifax
Yeah,
sounds like a
so
horse.
Like a horse tranquilizer.
No, a horse. Like at the Kentucky
Like a
Derby.
horse. Equifax. I guess I. What is the
or would
one?
that be a horse cloning machine?
No, it's the brother of the horse that Gandalf had. Shadowfax and Equifax.
Was that the name? I don't remember that being the name of his horse. Of the great stallion.
Oh, I love it.
So the idea is you make an account with them, and then you use that account to
You
say I'm
lock
not
it
going to
down
use
so
it.
only you have access to that. Now, Jackson, I'm going to warn you, all those questions that they challenge you to prove that who you are, all the answers are in this data breach that's out there. Somebody has, where did I used to live? What was my old phone number? What's my
Mm.
mother's maiden name? All that information is out in the wild now. So you've got to take extra
What's the
steps to
point? The two-factor, I guess, is what you're saying.
the two-factor.
But then what if I forget my two-factor? Are those not the questions I use to cover that, or is there no recovery at that point?
I'll just say don't lose your two-factor.
I've
You
done
will
that
be
Something
before with
flooding with your
Google.
two-factor.
It was unfortunate because Google is I could actually go on a rant on this for a little while. Google is so unforgiving because they are so massive. They do not care. They do not care if you lose your account because your account is probably not what's making the money. So anyway, I did
Well,
that
and
once.
that
I switched numbers, didn't have access to the old one, and then I lost my original account. Luckily, I was able to recover most things, but there was a loss there.
well, and that goes to one of our core elements, right? 3-2-1 backups. Just because
Yep,
it's in Google Drive or on your Gmail doesn't mean it's going to be there forever.
exactly. And Google Drive, it's a generally pretty safe spot to put things, especially if you're
Till you
considering
miss a
like
credit card payment.
Right. Until you like, if you're considering like, I actually don't know if it's ever happened. I'm sure it's happened in some case where Google actually loses your data because I mean they keep backups everywhere. So as far as that goes, it's a great spot to put data, but it shouldn't be the only spot you keep your data because while Google might have bajillion copies of it, you don't.
I think
So
we talked about it. There was a company in, I think, New Zealand. Artie, you might know this one. There's 137 terabytes of historical data. It was a retirement fund, and Google lost all of it.
Oh no.
I don't know that one.
Oh, that was a good one. Artie, do a search for it while I kind of pontificate on this. Um, the way it was set up, the company was storing all of their data in a Google archive, and it was like just this big cloud space because it's 137 terabytes. And so then there's also a backup somewhere, somehow in Google land. The repository was set for a 1 year expiration, self delete.
What? Why is that even an option?
Don't know.
Especially for a business like that, because I mean, you have to create a business account. Oh, that just sounds terrible.
So 1 year after it started and after they're gone, all of a sudden they woke up. Oh, yeah, that database. Great news. We cleaned it up for you. It's gone. Your
You did
Oh,
spring
temporary account
cleaning.
has been, it's gone. And they're like, oh, great. Let's go look at the backups. And they say, yeah, hey, good news. It's been a year. We deleted the backups for you too.
so a $135 billion pension account deleted.
Wait, how much? Sorry.
135
$135
billion.
billion.
That's massive. That's like that's like uh well, I might be totally wrong about this, but I mean that's getting close to like the government's yearly budget for things.
No.
They couldn't even roll it back.
Well, let's just say I would love to know firsthand what $135 billion looks like. Even a percent of that I'd be happy with.
In pennies.
In
All I can
pennies.
think
Oh,
of is the scene in Breaking Bad where I don't even remember their names, but they're just laying on the pile of money.
how do you sleep at night? On a mattress filled with $100 bills.
It's a hard
Oh,
life.
for being made of cotton, it's not really that comfortable.
I hope to one day have the experience,
I'll sew a shirt out of it.
but today is not that day. It'd be funny, YouTube influencers, instead of like flaunting Lamborghinis and just all the rich stuff, just have a mattress money. Just
Oh man.
How many dollars would
not
it
my
take to
lifestyle.
fill a mattress, a regular twin-size mattress?
Wadded up or like stacked nicely and
Stacked
firm.
nicely.
How
Sounds like
much
a
money
chat GPT question.
in what in like dollar bills or like 10 or like $100 bills? How much money it would be?
Just like $1
All right,
bills. I
you
mean,
got
what's the minimum amount of money that you would need to fill up a mattress?
We should have a guess. We should do the prices right.
oh,
Okay,
Twin
figure
twin
there's
size
100 per
mattress.
stack.
Hey, keep your guess to yourself, Artie. I'm gonna say something like, oh, that's hard. I'm gonna say like $2,000.
I'm gonna
no,
say about
Ones?
way more than that.
1.7 million.
Millions in one?
So
No way.
In ones? Yeah.
So it's 183 to be the surface area of a twin size mattress.
183 of bills.
Yes.
Okay, wow, I was way off. So then, yeah, I guess how many deep do you go? What does ChatGPT say?
10 inches thick. And it's going through the math. Well, good news, guys. It's only $424,000 to fill the volume of a standard twin size mattress.
Wow.
I've got a sock full.
$500,000 for a mattress.
King size is a small fortune.
You know, that's about, I mean, I bought my mattress recently, so yeah, that's about what they cost these days.
$500,000, yeah.
Uh,
They got layaway programs for those.
Lay awake programs.
Oh, good times. Well, let's see. YubiKey.
yeah, tell us about that.
What's a YubiKey?
It's a form of multi-factor authentication.
You got yours on you?
I don't have one.
I thought I gave you one.
No, I don't. I don't have one. Unless I lost it, that would be unfortunate. But no, I don't.
That'd be really unfortunate because it's a hardware two-factor kind of thing.
Yep.
So it is a hard coded. Next time Jackson you're in town, I'm gonna get you a YubiKey.
That'd be awesome.
The YubiKey allows you to store. I think it's up to 25 unique passcodes.
Depends on the key.
It is the newest generation. There's other FIDO2 compliant hardware keys. The idea behind it is a computer inside. It will never tell you the password. It will only tell you the answer to the challenge phrase. So think of like your password hash. So you type in a password, the computer stores the password as a hash. It doesn't save your password in clear text. So theoretically, people can't reverse engineer that.
Right.
YubiKey does the same thing at a hardware key level. It's all contained inside that chip. Some researchers just figured out how to reverse engineer it out.
The hash, or
How to get the actual passcode out of the YubiKey. Now, Jackson, if you were going to do this, you need to know the username that they use, the password they use for that site, and you have to have an oscilloscope and a whole host of decoding materials. You have to be able to crack open the YubiKey physically and probe the traces and run the pass check multiple times to confirm you've got the right pass key generation.
that sounds simple enough. Oscilloscope is like what, $10 off of eBay.
Garage
It's
sale.
like a price of a
Not the kind you
car.
need for this one.
Yeah, no, it's like I was just, I'm a college student on campus. We have a ton of them, and I was like, "How much does one of these cost?" And he goes, it's like $40,000." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
You got 17 of them. What are you talking about?
And there's a shelf full of them. I'm like, "Good grief!"
Good oscilloscopes cost a lot of money because you can do a lot of cool things with them.
They are very cool. They're fancy dancy.
I got an old Tektronix one. Had an old Tektronix one. It was about the size of a microwave.
Now that you say that, the ones they have are pretty streamlined. They're getting compact.
Its screen was about probably 3-inch diameter, maybe 4.
It was circular. The screen.
It was circular,
Oh.
and
Oh wow! All that makes
I got it
sense
from
now.
the guy because it was on consignment. I got it from the guy because he could not get it to perform a sweep.
Oh yeah.
Got a dot on the center of the screen, but it would wiggle, but it couldn't get it to do a sweep.
Were you able to fix it?
Downloaded the manual.
I
There was a warm up sequence and a startup sequence, and then it does a sweep.
how much did you sell it to you for?
$10.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the old kind that you would actually see in movies. They put it on set to make it look cool.
That's funny.
I miss that thing.
Read the manual. It's an RTM problem.
Yep. Well, what else we got, guys? Jackson, you had a
Yeah, let's talk AI again, you know, because
what's that? You're breaking up. I can't.
it's so let me read here. This is from Bleeping Computer. This was actually just posted this afternoon. Um, a North Carolina musician, Michael Smith, was indicted for collecting over 10 million in royalty payments from Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and YouTube Music using AI generated songs. So essentially what he did in a quick summary, he essentially took an AI or multiple AIs, had them all create all these songs, and then he would post them to Apple, all the music streaming services. And then what he would do is he employed thousands of bots to go and listen to his music that he just posted. And so he then just collects a big old paycheck. So it brings up a big another concern with AI and AI being in the art industry and the music industry, because not only was he using that plus bots to go and listen to the music, he wasn't only using it to create his own music, but like we've been over several times, where does AI get its training? It's from other artists, and so that brings up a whole other conversation.
And it's interesting because AI right now, and I'm going to use the phrase that if you remember Stan, he says machine learning instead of AI because AI is just a misnomer. It's not. It's a buzzword. It's not an actual attribute of intelligence that a computer has. So you taught these bots and you taught these music using existing content. By essence, it is derivative. There's no originality to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can create some cool stuff, but yeah,
Because
it brings up a good question. Should he be allowed to keep the money because he gamed the system with machine learning?
The way that the rules are set up for a lot of those streaming services is that any payments made via fraud, which includes sending bots to listen or watch stuff, is forfeit back to the company. And it's it's done that way because there are bot farms out there that they'll watch their own content just to drive up viewership. And many of the like YouTube will, they've developed algorithms to hunt those things out and nip them in the bud, but people still find their ways around it, but they end up owing the company back any royalties or any money that they've earned because they have committed in the terms of service fraud.
yeah, and I
And
mean,
that's why you're our flight engineer, Artie.
I'm on at like 25% right now. I'm fading too.
well, before
I'll
you
take
go out, put us on autopilot so we don't crash and burn.
I'll take 25% of you over most other flight engineers I've run into. It's a
Fly
compliment, by
brakes
the way.
before you run into them.
Uh,
But according to Bleeping Computer, when this guy, what's his name?
Michael
Smith
Smith, I believe you
something.
said.
Michael Smith. Yep, that's right. He was running about 1,000 bots at once at the peak, and so a bot could listen to about 600 some odd songs a day, giving you about 660 some odd thousand streams a day, which then gets you about $3,307 a month, which then can get you a nice yearly earning.
a nice pair of
Or
silver
sorry,
handcuffs.
I said that wrong. Your daily earnings are $3,300 is what he had, and the monthly was 99,000. Yearly of 1.2 million.
Yeah, okay, that's just getting greedy.
Yeah. No, if the other way around, that's not crazy impressive.
Question is, would he get caught if he had only done like 10 or 12 bots instead of going gonzo like that?
Eventually,
That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly how they caught it, but I'm sure someone on their financial team was looking through.
they're constantly upgrading the dragnet that they've created for catching AI stuff, catching bots, and that kind of stuff.
Hey, it's funny. This song is listened to by people that only listen to it 24 hours a day.
I mean,
And it sounds
so
like crap.
you make that joke, but there are literal like 10-hour
Oh, yeah?
versions of 2-minute songs
Oh,
because there are people that will
no,
like,
no. Don't name a single one. I'm sure my kids have played them
okay,
constantly.
I'll name the meme one, and that is
Yeah.
the He-Man version of "What's Up" by Four Non-Blondes.
I love
You
that
had to.
song.
You had to.
Yes, I had to.
I actually almost unironically love that song.
It's a
It's
good
Not after
song.
10 hours of it.
no, 10 hours no, but it's a like once in a blue moon. You remember that it exists and you play it, get a good laugh.
First time I
Yeah, I
ever
don't know
heard
who
that
came up with the
song
10-hour
was Scream
loops, but
Tracker 3.
Say that
you know,
again.
The first time I ever heard the song was on a program called Scream Tracker 3. Somebody had like loaded that as a demo. Scream Tracker was it
that was
used MIDI
brilliant.
sounds and waves to, you could import them and basically make music with it.
Think of you know what MIDI is, right?
Yeah.
Um, MIDI is just basically a sound sample. Scream Tracker had the ability to actually take waves and put them in place of MIDI commands, but also put MIDI commands and play MIDI, either FM synthesis or actual uh, uh, voices. And so you could play back anything. It didn't have to be a MIDI voice because you could go sample. And true story, there's a guy that hung a microphone out the window of his armored truck and smashed through a brick wall, and that turned into a sample.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Aphex Twin is the artist there, just in case you're curious. Guy's certifiable and has some crazy cool music, if that's your type. But AI, it's growing. I mean, it's turning into a $1 trillion industry right now.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, we haven't seen any return on that investment yet, but companies are still pouring in 10, 20, $50 billion into all these initiatives.
Now, what kind of return are you looking for when you say that?
Well, as a company, if you build a product, you want to sell the product and make 100 times, 1,000 times what you poured into the beginning.
Right. Are they not yet? I mean,
Not even close.
really? Do they disclose those numbers?
Um,
They
they
don't need to
don't. They
disclose
don't.
because what they are buying is kind of public
Yeah.
because Nvidia I believe certain chips of theirs are bought out for the next 5 years.
Hmm.
Like the production for said chips is gone.
Wow.
And it's one of the reasons Nvidia became the most valuable stock on the planet for a few days, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want power? Be the scheduling manager at TSMC.
What is wait, TSMC? What is that? TSMC?
Oh, here's a soundbite for you. So the scheduling master at TSMC, which is the company that makes all the chips, they're
Yeah.
the fabrication facility for all the silicone that goes inside the chip for your
Ah,
GPUs.
Nvidia doesn't do it
Um,
themselves.
they do allocation across all their various customers because you can't just put NVIDIA. That means Ford, GM, Chrysler, none of them get their chips. So you got to balance it just right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a guy or a small team of guys figuring out that schedule, and dare I say it, they're the ones that have the true power in the world right now.
Yeah. That's still mind-boggling to me to think that they are booked for 5 years, right? Like that's crazy.
Hmm.
Like I mean, how many businesses can say that for the next 5 years we are bought out, like we're full production, that's pretty crazy. And it's also concerning though, because I mean, I like Nvidia and I want to make sure that they still make things for me, and not just for everyone. Like, I don't want them to go exclusive
Hmm.
for AI and then I lose, the cool products that I like.
Yep.
Because I'm sure many executives would just, well, forget the consumer products. Let's just do, this um uh I don't even know what you call it, but just work for these huge clients that are gonna pay us. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's probably more uh profitable for them anyway.
Well, it's the whole supply and demand thing. It's like Raspberry Pi computers. They were originally like 20, 30 for the basic system. A little board, input, output. You got all the ports on there. Um, $30. Well, they're now $150 because of supply and demand. Because corporations figured out I could buy a little system on a chip that is extremely powerful, very versatile. I can make it do anything I want. So for $50, I'm going to buy every one I can get my hands on. And all the other companies in the world are trying to buy all the ones they can get their hands on. The creators of it didn't want that. They wanted it for you and for me and for all the other hobbyists out there. Let's get kids excited about things. Let's give the hobbyists a chance to use a very powerful, very inexpensive, very reliable computer. Supply and demand. If somebody can spin it around and make $1,000 off of it, they're gonna spin it around and make $1,000.
So, well, that's unfortunate. I mean, originally it was, I mean, you can't find them for that price anymore. And
No,
there's no way they can't just set a limit of number of items that anyone can buy.
they tried. They tried,
Yeah.
but there's always a way. I mean, it's like a guy with 1,000 bots making 1.2 million a year.
Yeah, figures. Darn it. Darn those
Ticketmaster has the
people.
same problem. There's people they spawn up 10,000 bots to go buy the latest Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah, that's the worst, and then they just upsell them. I
Well,
mean,
Yep.
not particularly Taylor Swift for me, but other
I
artists.
I have something to say on that. Now, when I went over to England a few years back, um, spent time in London going to a bunch of the productions, London's West End, bunch of theater going on. It's a great place. If you ever in town, you won't miss it. But go see something. Um, However, you show up to a performance, and there's like 30 seats that are not sold for that performance. Once it hits showtime, those seats get released. If you had those tickets, those seats can get sold again. So,
You had those tickets.
Yes. And I so love that because it would get rid of scalping if we applied that elsewhere. Because you show up to a concert, oh, there's 18 slots available. It's already started, but there's 18 slots left. You can go in and pay the charge for the ticket instead of you know somebody buying the tickets en masse as soon as they become available and then selling them for 10 times what they were.
Yeah, I'd take an alternate perspective. What if my taxi's late? What if the bus is running behind schedule and I don't quite make it there just in time?
I understand that, but it's one of those
I
things
get to pay
of
double for my show.
you show up early.
How about the tickets go on the blockchain? Whoever bought it is the one that redeems it.
Oh, there are some places that do that. I mean, when when we went and saw that concert a couple years back, um,
Cool
our
concert.
names were on the tickets,
Yep.
and anybody but us could not redeem it. We wouldn't be able to be let in.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting into an interesting point here, guys. So these tickets are actually related to our first subject, or one of our first subjects. The Social Security numbers getting out there. Everything's public knowledge. How do you protect it all? I'm kind of excited to see where this goes as a society as we try and solve some of these problems. It's not going to be without pain, I promise you that. The world's going to have some very strong feelings one way or the other, which way it should have gone.
You know what they say about pain, right? It makes you a believer.
And now that song stuck in my head.
You're welcome.
It makes me want to generate some AI something and send it your way.
Now, those are tickets
then-
that I would love to get.
With it.
I'm gonna install malware on your computer that forces you to stream some AI generated music 24/7.
Baby Shark.
Oh no.
I can handle
We're
Baby
gonna
Shark.
we're gonna
If you really want to get
10
me,
hours?
Blues Traveler. That'll put me on edge almost instantly.
Noted. I'll make a good solid note of that one. Prepare to be rickrolled.
I enjoy Rickroll. Once.
You know, before
twice.
I knew what rickroll was. Okay, let's roll back in time a little bit again. Bluetooth in cars was kind of a new thing. I'm traveling the world, seeing the different schools that I'm installing tech labs in. I had MP3s loaded into my phone. And the first one, I don't know why, but it had Never Gonna Give You Up as the first song in the file list. Not my playlist, but the file list.
Mm-hmm.
The car, every time I turned it on, started the playlist at the first song. Every time.
Oh, that's funny.
And that was actually before I learned what rickrolling was. And then like a year later, somebody told me what rickroll actually was, and I'm like, that's hilarious because my car rickrolled me for an entire week.
That's so funny.
At least
I
you're
actually
no
have-
stranger to
Want to
love.
hear it?
I have a
Oh.
beautiful 3D print. It's not a lithothane, I think that's how they say it. That sounds like I'm speaking with a lisp. It is
Lithography?
yes, it is not that. It is a different form of 3D printing, which will actually turn your images into 3D prints. I don't know if you mind if I can try and show you guys. I have to take this
Maybe.
camera up off.
No, we're going mobile.
There it is. And that's Stormtrooper right next to him. But it's actually a pretty cool process, and so it's actually
Oh.
it was super fun. I can't remember the name of the software that was
You just
actually
got rickrolled
used. You did just get rickrolled. Sorry to all
in
of our
visual form.
viewers. Not sorry. I know it was great. It was so funny. A buddy of mine printed it. I actually don't have a printer here, but he printed it and gave it to me, and I was like, that's the best gift ever. And so now I get to get rickrolled every day.
That's awesome.
You know,
It's-
if I
Well,
had a
speaking of
sushi
AI,
restaurant, I'd rename the California roll the Rick Roll because it's almost sushi.
Oh, sushi sounds so good. I'm gonna go buy some sushi. Thank you for my dinner idea.
oh, there you go. Well, speaking of AI, just to roll this back in, um, I think we're further away from AGI than people are talking.
What does AGI stand for?
Artie?
I don't know.
Artificial General Intelligence. It's the intelligence that is equal to us.
Hmm.
The
But we're
ability
very
to,
far. The ability to actually create from nothing.
well,
right?
people keep saying we need more and more data to pour in for the machine learning. We've already poured in the compendium of human knowledge and experience into the current systems. We can't double that. We can't make a copy of it to make it bigger because it's just the same data.
We've got the wrong people designing it. They are not
Yep.
approaching it from the right perspective. You need something that is inquisitive, that can ask questions, that can synthesize an answer based upon actual information that's given to it. Like,
Well, that's actually where I'm at is I don't think AI is going to get to that point in any of the generation we're at right now because it's all designed to answer questions, not ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Now it's interesting to think about that. It's really hard for me to imagine how you can tell a computer to do that, right? Because um, even thinking about random numbers, uh, whenever you generate anything random on your computer, it's never random. It's all just algorithms that are designed to try and give you something random, but they're not.
Yeah, the current large language models, you type in a question and, looking behind the scenes, you see different nodes light up in its decision logic. And they don't know why certain ones light up and other ones don't. We just don't know.
Hmm.
So it's an interesting challenge. How do we go from a large language model to artificial general intelligence? And Artie, I think you're right. We've got the wrong people working on the project right now, or they're designing in a completely wrong direction.
You just roasted all of OpenAI, by the
I'm
way.
okay with that.
I stand behind it.
I'm not saying you're wrong. But that's really interesting. And I don't have a huge background in computer programming, but it would be very interesting to understand how you could teach a computer to do that, right? And I
Well,
don't
that's
even go ahead.
it's like teaching inspiration. It's like teaching creativity. You
Mm-hmm.
can't. Even computers, and by their nature, computers only mimic what is given to them, or they'll sort and organize in really really rapid ways, but they won't have that inspiration or creativity inherently. And the only way to get it to see creativity is to show creative process in action, but it's only going to copy what's there. It's not going to say, hey, that gives me an idea. It's going to just say, cool, now let's paint that with pastels instead of watercolors. Or
Hmm.
it's going to be a challenge.
We are
But
far away from Skynet or Ultron,
at
thankfully.
least like a day or something like that. I don't know.
So,
Uh,
I
2 days from now, it will be a true statement.
kind of understand though. Ultron was an AI intelligence that spent 1.5 seconds on the internet and decided humanity needed to be wiped out. I understand that.
You are not promoting genocide on this show, are you?
I am not. No, I'm making a joke.
Okay, good. Good.
I just think of probably because I just watched it recently as well. Alien, and there's that new. Is it Romulus out now?
I don't know.
I'm a pretty big Alien fan. I like those movies a lot. But there is one, I think it's Covenant is the one where they kind of explore that whole idea of an AI that is more like ChatGPT that can't really create or think for itself, or one that can. And it's like a subplot in the whole thing, which is, well, I guess that kind of is the whole plot, but it's interesting. I think Alien does a good. They give it an interesting take on the AI scheme of things, and it's almost like it's underneath everything else. Like the whole thing is like, oh, it's all about Alien, but I think that they kind of push that topic quite a bit.
Have you seen Spaceballs?
Is that the one with the dogs?
No.
He's a Mog.
No, I have not seen Spaceballs.
There's a the reason I bring that up is you said Alien. There's a parody of that. You have to watch the movie. It's a Mel Brooks film. It's funnier to remember than it is to watch the first time. But it's worth it. That one's highly worth it. It's easily on the top 10 most referenced sci-fi parody kind of shows.
Everyone always references it.
They've Gone to Plaid is my favorite.
I can't
see,
say
I
my
think-
favorite on stream.
Right? So
Interesting.
let's wrap with that one. Ladies and
How about-
gentlemen, get a chance to watch Jackson's face next time as he regales us the tale of Spaceballs. Particularly
matter,
the part,
Colonel Sanders.
Episode 18, no longer a minor.
right? We're all grown up over here now. Well, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to let you go and talk to you next week. Stay safe out there. Make sure to freeze your credits as quick as possible. And then like and comment down below if you got any questions. We'll see what we can do to answer those. Until then, I'm John.
And I'm Jackson.
Marty.
And we'll catch you next time.
Adios.